And you were saying before we started recording that most of your team is in South Africa. I know that you own a virtual assistant company, and I'm so fascinated by that because we're right now looking for a CFO in our company. I don't want to pay somebody $100,000 a year to be our CFO, but that's what it looks like we have to do. And so I want to get your take because I think that VAs can change the face of a business. Like right now, my executive assistant is a VA and is amazing.
Yep.
And so like, talk to me about how you use VAs to help run your company and really valuable valuable roles as well.
Well, I'll just put it in perspective. I just hired a CFO in South Africa for $4,800 a month.
Yeah.
And he spent 4 years of his career getting on an airplane and flying to New York City and doing audit for PricewaterhouseCoopers in New York City. So,
yeah,
like,
that's cheaper than what I'm looking at.
Everybody thinks virtual assistant, but my head of sales, my chief revenue officer somewhere is South African. My full sales team, everybody except for my head of acquisition. Like if we go to my real estate company, I have a head of finance in America. He is an extension of me because he's running our private equity deals. He's saying yes or no. He's doing investor relations, but his right hand is in South Africa. His two analysts, one is in Egypt, two are in Colombia, South America. We have a head of acquisitions in America and 4 cold callers in South Africa. They have a smooth accent. It's very, very approachable. And then my management company is almost all based in Colombia. My sales, I sell units. My sales team is in South Africa and the Philippines, but my operations team is in Colombia. They speak Spanish. They're dealing with all my vendors, dealing with all maintenance requests, like paying all the bills, managing my property. So 50 employees at my property management and private equity company, my annual overhead is $1.3 million a year. Whereas the private equity firm that's doing what I do in Atlanta with an office is spending $5 or $6 million a year.
Yeah.
So it's just, and frankly, we would not have been able to survive the last 2 years of real estate tough market with $5 million a year of overhead. We just wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
You go ahead. So this is something that I'm interested in because my company is all remote, or at least I'm remote. How do you keep strong like company culture?
Look, you reward your high performers, man. These people are killers. To keep a strong company culture for me, it's like keep giving my high performers more exciting stuff to do, more decisions, cut the low performers, and make decisions really fast. Like if you make decisions slow and you keep C players around, like you're going to watch your A players walk away. So like when it comes to company culture, you have an option. Fire your C players or watch your A players walk away. So my high performers love that mentality because they don't have to work with incompetent people. At most companies you do. And I, as a boss and a leader, make decisions quickly to make their life and job easier. And frankly, we're just phenomenally ambitious. Like we're getting after it. We're doing a lot of fun things. So these guys are loving it, man.
Why South Africa?
Man, Johannesburg is like the New York City of the world. It's amazing. Like the culture there is unbelievable. There's British Afrikaans accent. It's not, English as a second language is almost everywhere in the world, not South Africa. They speak English, as kids. So management talent, like there's some big companies there. They do a lot of remote work into London, Germany, even the United States. So I think for sales and finance and executive, like RevOps, like HubSpot work, like building out acquisitions, like method, South Africa has been unbelievable, but there's strengths in any area, like a $750 analyst, $750 a month analyst who can work magic in Microsoft Excel in Cairo, Egypt, because an apartment is $50 a month in Cairo, Egypt. We'll go to Poland and Serbia for development. If we're doing some software stuff, we'll go to Latin America for almost all construction stuff, architect, civil, project management, design. So every place in the world has its strengths, but people think VA, and man, it's like executive level talent overseas.
Yeah.
How do you find talent? What is your secret to finding and hiring, and attracting the best people? Is it a series of tests, or what do you do?
Somewhere? You mean like when we're hiring internationally?
Yeah. You want to hire internationally. You can't sit down with them, for a beer and chat with them. So how do you know they're A players?
I'll put it in perspective. We get 50,000 applicants a month at somewhere.com.
Whoa.
We give them all, the first thing we do is give them a typing assessment. And 90% of them can't type over 35 words per minute. And you can't work a remote job. You're totally incompetent. So we sort our entire occupant pool on typing speed. And we call and we work the top. Like, it's very rare to find somebody in Colombia, for example, where they speak Spanish who types 70 words per minute. They're likely a total badass. We're going to find them a job easy. But yeah, then it's a screening call. Then it's, a lot of work to get to that. We place 200 people a month. 50,000 applicants. We place 200 people a month. So
wow,
it is a ton of work. I think of our placed people, of our 200 last month, 50% came from referrals. So people who we had hired in the past, or our outreach on LinkedIn. The other half, it was split between applicants on LinkedIn, Indeed, and then ads that we're running on social media was less like 20%. So man, it's a hard game. But if you're going to hire and you don't want to pay a recruiter, you can use somewhere.com. You can go post a job on LinkedIn. You're going to get 300 applicants. Make sure you give them all a typing test first.
That's such a good tip. Yeah, I'd not heard that before, but I
do it for American. Like, I do it for all hires at all of my companies because typing speed.
There's a story I tell often, and she probably has heard me tell it, and I feel bad. But Tracy, I love you. But when I first hired my very first assistant ever, I set her up in a new office. My first assistant, I was like 28 or 29. And I give her this big Mac computer, and I set it all up for her. And I meet her at the office. I'm doing training. I'm like, all right, go to your desktop. And she goes, what's a desktop? And I was like, it's like the computer, the screen. She's like, okay, where all the icons are. And she goes, okay, what's an icon? And I was like, oh no. I was like, have you ever used a computer before? And the answer was no. She had never used a computer in her life. And I hired her to be my digital assistant, like my online virtual, assistant. I'm quite virtual. That was a good lesson learned.
Sure, she was a really nice lady, though.
She was so nice. Yeah. What we ended up actually doing, which is funny, it was 8 years. Yeah, it was 8 years ago. So I was 32 almost. And because it was right when Heather was pregnant with Rosie. And so we ended up having her put together all the baby furniture and take care of our house. And like, we shifted her role to like personal assistant. Yeah. And she crushed it at that until I moved to Hawaii.
But once you have somebody you're about to hire, make them do an assessment. If it's paid, like if it's an analyst, have them show you a discount cash flow model they built. Have them show you a Power BI model they build. If it's a salesperson, send them 4 of your team's sales calls. This is what we do in storage. Send them 4 of your team's sales calls and ask them to record a 2-minute video on each, critiquing them on missed opportunities, so on and so forth. So you get a preview of the work that they're going to do. You can do this in almost any field. You name a specialty, I'll tell you like a very simple 3 or 4 hour assessment that you can have them do. But it's so worth it. Just saves so much headache.
I got a personal question that probably doesn't apply to anybody listening to the podcast, but I'll ask you it. So I need a marketing, like a CMO, probably like somebody that's like, I have like a dozen companies, like 3 or 4 main ones, right? Maybe 5 like main ones, everything from the big real estate to education companies to my mortgage company. And it's all tied to the Brandon Turner brand, like through Instagram or through social media. So I need somebody to oversee all of it, like at a very high level that really understands it. And that's an expensive job in the US. Like I don't want to pay, and I mean, I know that role pays for itself, they say, but like, I don't want to pay $500,000 for like a, Fortune 500 level C-suite. Yeah. Can I hire that person overseas?
Yeah.
Do you think I can get that quality?
I would target Portugal, Thailand, and South Africa. And I would call it a CMO. Do you need a performance marketer by trade, or would you need somebody who's like, I love hiring people who started out in like ads.
Yes, me too. I think that's what I'd want. Yeah.
Yeah.
And work their way up.
I'd find a performance manager by trade in South Africa who's got 10 years of experience growing brands and companies.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. I never thought about it.
5 to 7K a month probably for somebody really good. Because like you said, like these folks are very, very valuable to companies.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind paying for it. But yeah, when I'm looking at like what that level is in the US, it's just absurd. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm just shooting too high, but I'm like, no, I need
sales is another one. Sales is another one that's so frustrating. We tried to hire a US based salesperson and like 90K comp. Then the next thing you know, they're in California. So you're going to have, FICA is going to be another 20K. You can't fire them if they're in California. Then it comes to negotiation. They want full benefit package. They want an accelerator on their bonus. They want to make 250K all in. And before you know it, you're just like, holy cow. I can get somebody for $3,000 a month in South Africa who's done $5,000 ticket B2B software sales. Like why? Why would I hire anywhere else?